Well, good evening, everyone. The Eastern Division of the USA Trucks raced last night. Apologies. Okay, and tonight we've got the West Coast racing at Kansas. Starting on the front row, we've got Noah Hobson, who actually had pole position last week at Texas, alongside Brian DeBlank here. Then we've got newcomer Alex Portolan Wilson in second row here with Dalton Scott alongside of him. And you got Chris Harvey and our two-time winner this season, Matthew Fastnot, followed by Tom Cording and John Hagan, a pair of winners. Then behind them, we've got last week's winner, Kyler Sestre, alongside Lynn Farrell, Trevor Walker and Philip Leeds, Dave Steele Jr., and Alan Chavot with a hell of a start here mid-pack. Adam Starr and Braden Hunt, Krista Cower and Paula Ladino, Cash and Tyler Shangle, Bella Fawn and Monty Shangle, Alan Malcolm and Brandon Proudfoot, Kat Durham and Josh Gaiman, Chasey Plays and Roach, Craig Popcris and Silas Huddleston, Luis Rodriguez and Luke, Nate Newman and Anheuser Wagner, Jacob Shangle and Nathan Mann, Daniel Paulus and Lotus King, Lucas Holmes and Josh Drake, followed by Gavin Legend and Jamison Thole rounding out the rest of the field there.
Favor.
210 miles under the lights here at Kansas. Total of 140 laps here tonight. We've seen heartbreak for Brian DeBlank the last couple weeks. He's hoping here to turn it around. Has a good start on the front row in the 85 truck. Not quite in must-win territory yet, but he's getting close to it. With only 2 races left to go after tonight, we're really going to have a clear picture on who's locked in and who's on the outside looking in. Pace truck is off. Green flag waving in the air. They're off and racing here tonight at Kansas. So we've yet to see Honda pull into victory lane here in the trucks. We've seen Subaru and Chevy earn their first career wins this season. And it looks like we're about to have a 1-2 Honda as Chris Harvey gets in alongside Portolan. Portolan Wilson there, side by side for second. Tom Cording giving Chris Harvey a good push here, getting him up to second. Now we got Tom Cording trying to fight his way up to the front here, which has been rather the same song and dance every week between the two Cording brothers. We've seen them pretty dominant early on. Side by side for the lead. Almost a carbon copy of last week's race where Noah Hobson started in the lead, losing the lead to Tom Cording in almost the identical fashion there. A little bit different though, as we've got Chris Harvey in the mix. Kyler Sestre, of course, last week's winner, right there in fourth. Sestre had to prove that he could beat Tom Cording heads up. Managed to do so in that demanding win last week. Dave Steele Jr. working his way up into the top 5 here. And Wilson here now up to 4th. I'll call him Alex P. Wilson for short. Hobson holding in pretty solid there behind Tom Cording, not letting him get away. Hobson had a pretty solid finish last race, even though he failed to win it. Still ended up coming home at the end of the race last week with a 3rd. Matthew Fastnot was trying his hardest to secure 3 in a row with the race last week at Texas. Came home 2nd to Kyler Sestre. Kyler Sestre really put in a pretty solid run last week at Texas, and funny how the two tracks are kind of setting up as almost a repeat of last week, with Tom Cording led most laps at the last race, and he's up front leading now, so it's only a matter of time to tell if he ends up leading most laps here again tonight. Oh, and here we go. A fight for the lead here. Hobson cuts out a line, but doesn't do much more than that. I don't want to step away from this battle at the front, as it looks like it could heat up again here. I would like to try and go through the field and see where everyone's running right now. And we'll keep an eye on the standing ticker, but I'm going to skim through the field and see. So Dave Steele slots his way up into the top 5 for now, given that Trackhouse B, another good run for the Trackhouse B team. Newcomer Alex P. Wilson definitely looking pretty good here so far. A 6th place run early on in this one. Trevor Walker about to, oh, and we've got a blown engine here from Matthew Fastnot. Oh, and it is getting worse there. Oh, unfortunately, Chavot gets caught up in it. More trucks coming into the mix and getting caught up in it. So what was it that he had? He had an engine damage. Good thing is he's locked into the chase, so he doesn't need any wins to lock his way through. Although wins would definitely help give himself some boost in the points going forward. Unfortunately, tonight it's going to come to an end for him after a blown engine here on lap 14. DeBlanc could possibly have some pretty strong damage from the contact made with Fastnot. Yeah, it was a unfortunate scenario for everyone else trying to come in during the very, very sad for the 97 of Alan Chavot, who was actually running in 20th there with nowhere to go. Gets sandwiched between the two trucks. Takes quite a bit of damage on the front end of that 97 truck. Gaiman gets spun out here. Roach is involved in it. Seems like another truck is upside down on its roof. The 37 of Dalton Scott goes for a gnarly ride here. He makes pretty hard impact with Fastnot and then gets hit on the side to roll around on track. 94 Ladino really had nowhere to go and clambered into the 37. More trucks involved as they had nowhere to go on the narrow confines of Kansas Motor Speedway. Braden Hunt is definitely in a must-win scenario here, and that makes it that much harder after sustaining damage in the wreck there. You can see the 69 truck gets ping-ponged around a little bit. And so, yeah, we're going to have a bunch of retirements here after that first caution of the night. Nearly half the field out. So we'll have to see exactly what the heck happened after the fact, because even Dave Steele Jr. had to retire from the race. This is after the caution, do note. And coming back around under caution here, there's another wreck happening. The 15 of Noah Hobson, who was at the front of the field leading. So what exactly happened here as they race back to the start-finish line? Noah Hobson in second there to Tom Cording. They're trying to slow up here. Oh, there was still a truck left out on track with the wreck from earlier. 64 of Jacob Shangle. Wow, it was that close to the leaders at the end of it all. This truck did not have near enough time to get a tow truck as our leaders shortly after this catch up to the mayhem here. Most of them get towed out pretty quickly, but not the 64 truck. And this collected, wow. Talk about split second. That's unfortunate for Noah Hobson there. Noah Hobson comes back down and collects the 22 of Dave Steele, the 14 of Adam Starr, 77 of Lynn Farrell, and a few others getting all tangled up in the mess. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hop onto the restart here, where Kyler Sestre has the outside front row, and he slots in with the lead pretty quickly there in front of Tom Cording. Gonna get caught back up to live here, so our ticker reads correctly. If I'm not live, the ticker will be off by a lap or how many laps we're behind. 12 of Harvey making a move there up to second. Still staying low there, keeping Tom Cording on the high side. Cording, though, muscles his way around on the outside, getting back into second there. So definitely a different field now than what we saw at the start of the race, where we had Noah Hobson fighting for a win alongside Tom Cording. Now it's Kyler Sestre and Tom Cording fighting for that lead right now. Chris Harvey's been there all day so far. Then you got John Hagan creeping into the picture, up to fourth right now. Ooh, there we go. Tom Cording making a move. Chris Harvey thinking about making it 3 wide. Sestre kind of lays off there and let him go 2 wide in front of him. Good racing at the front of the field here for the lead. But we only have 24 trucks left after all the carnage happened around lap 20 there. A lot of drivers with a possible chance at getting their first win tonight, as we saw quite a few good contenders get tangled up in that wreck. The likes of Matthew Fastnot, Cash, and even another winner, actually, I stand corrected. Our 2 winners involved in the wreck were Cash and Matthew Fastnot. But there were a lot of fast trucks involved in that too. So trucks that were vying for their first win here tonight, out early before we even get a quarter of the way into this one. Harvey flying the lone flag for Honda now that his teammate got tangled up in the wreck. Lynn Farrell with pretty significant damage on that 77 truck, still running in 7th. Then you've got Nate Newman running 8th, which is actually a huge surprise. We have not seen this truck with top 10 pace, I think, ever. So Nate Newman on pace for a great night here at Kansas. Josh Gaiman was involved in the wreck. He's still out there running in 9th. Silas Huddleston running in 10th. Krista Cower in 11th, our one Subaru winner this year in the 98 truck. Lotus King, Alan Malcolm, Chasey Plays, and Gavin Legend round out your top 15. And then we still have Brian DeBlank out there. Right now the worst he can finish is 24th. Actually, everyone out there is still running. The worst they could finish is 24th, unless another truck falls out of this one. He sustained some pretty significant damage during that caution period, where we tore up easily more than half the field. Tyler Shangle in 19th, Daniel Paulus in 20th, Monty Shangle in 21st, Luke, Josh Drake, and Anheuser Wagner are all your remaining trucks on track. So this might be a new record this season for the least amount of trucks running at the end of a race. We have not seen that many trucks fall out in a long time here. Trevor Walker getting in alongside Chris Harvey there for second. Harvey fighting strong on the outside here as they run nose to tail on that inside line. That's 4 drivers with 1 win apiece this season. Tom Cording would like to extend that to 2, as well as Trevor Walker, Kyler Sestre, and John Hagan. That extra win will help give them extra bonus points going into the chase. Crazy on the West Coast here that there's really no standout dominant force yet that we've seen. We've seen the parity and everything pretty well distributed evenly amongst the top drivers on this division. We've seen Tom Cording at the lead a lot, but he seems to have trouble closing the deal when it comes to crunch time. We've seen so many times that Tom Cording leads the most laps and does not win the race. Like tonight, for example, you never know when you get wound up in a wreck, not of your doing and whatnot. Just look at Alan Chavot, who had nowhere to go, and many more like him got caught out of the race on this one. Trevor Walker making up a run here on the 90 truck, closing the gap to the lead pretty readily. That 21 truck supporting relief for Hawaii after all the wildfires this past summer. And he's definitely hoping to give this truck a good run here tonight. Give some more recognition to the relief help for Maui and all their residents that have been struggling after the wildfires. Here we go, going down low here alongside Tom Cording. Massive run there on the inside. It looks like Trevor Walker is going to secure the lead with ease as he slots himself into P1. Chris Harvey right there behind, trying to also make a move. As you see, there is a good run here. Tom Cording with a good run as well. All 3 trucks with a full head of steam going into turn 1. And Trevor Walker has to give. Lets up off the throttle a little bit. Tom Cording gets his lead back. Although Trevor Walker did get 1 lead lap there. How about that? Alex Wilson there. Up into the top 5, fighting with leaders and veterans that have been up front all year so far. This is only his 2nd start, and he's trying to prove a point as the newcomer on the circuit. This definitely is one of the best runs that Chris Harvey has had in a long time. Seems just like the boss man that bad luck has been his only calling for this season. And you never want to have that much bad luck. Between the boss and him, it seems like they can't catch a break. But perhaps tonight in that number 12 Honda Ridgeline, just maybe the stars will align and Chris Harvey will have a good finish here. Number 24 truck right there behind him won it last race. So if you divided it by 2, you would have 12. Who knows? Maybe the next truck to win will be the 12. And if we kept following that trend, next week it would be Roach in the number 6 truck. And that'll be all the numbers we go down to here on the West Coast. Harvey getting by Tom Cording there for second. Gonna slot his way right there in front. And now he's gonna have his sights set on Trevor Walker as Tom Cording goes way high there, getting 3 wide with the traffic behind him. This is going to allow John Hagan to get by. It seems that Tom Cording is struggling here. Lap traffic becoming a factor as Trevor Walker is caught up to Anheuser-Walkner in the number 95 truck. Some news on the 95 team there. They will be switching over to Dodge at the start of the chase. So they'll be test trialing their new manufacturer at the end of the season here that they'll be switching over to full time. At the pace he's setting, I'm unfortunately going to have to DQ him because he's only going to be holding up traffic going forward. So it was a valiant effort from the 95. It doesn't seem like he's going to have the pace to get any more positions here tonight. So that'll leave us with 23 trucks left running at Kansas. Only 23 trucks left running. Here comes Chris Harvey sneaking up on Trevor Walker for the lead. Going to make it look interesting here as he's got a good run coming out of turn 4. Good run going into turn 1, but going to keep his nose clear of trying to make the pass. Tom Cording getting back up to 3rd here. Alex P. Wilson in 5th, still running very solidly with the veteran contenders here. Lap 45 of 140 completed. In case you're just now tuning in, all that you've missed is half the field wrecking out in the first caution of the race. First caution saw the blown engine, and actually we can look and see now what it was. Well, it registered him as being in an accident, but he had mechanical failure, the 09 of Matthew Fastnot. And as he was blowing up, he was not able to get down to the apron, get out of the racing line, spun out and collected numerous trucks in a very, very frantic melee in the midfield. Collected a lot of drivers, and then he even collected our leading drivers. A couple of them came around to the wreckage and were not able to avoid making collision with the cars that had already stalled on track. So the 15 of Noah Hobson, who was starting at the front of the field, led laps and was looking like he was going to have a good shot at fighting for the win here tonight. Got knocked out with that first caution of the race. So since the reset, we've seen Tom Cording duking it out here with Trevor Walker and Chris Harvey. Tom Cording has led the most laps so far, but Trevor Walker seems to have the faster of the 2 trucks as he leads the way right now. Alex P. Wilson in 4th. Chris Harvey making a move for the lead here. This could be a huge move as he's got a whole nose in front of the 21 truck. Give the 12 the lead here on lap 48. Now Harvey's just got to hold off the 90 truck behind him and hope like hell that he can keep him there. Chris Harvey's going to get credited with leading a lap. Officially led that lap there. Clear track in front of him. 12 truck looking good here tonight. Oh, and it looks like we had another truck stalled on track. Looked like the 49 of Chasey Plays. Our leaders are able to continue on as the caution is out. So yet again, a heartbreak for the 85 of Brian DeBlanc. Just seems like he is not going to be able to catch a break. He does, however, continue to keep going. So even though he got spun out by the 49 of Chasey Plays, he's going to continue on and try very hard to secure some more positions here tonight in that 85 truck. Still no more retirements after that. The 85 of DeBlanc is now 1 lap down along with the 49 of Chasey Plays. So the two of them 1 lap down in 22nd and 23rd. Meantime, it is Chris Harvey with the lead. Kind of a shocker with the 12 truck here. LFG Motorsports has had a rocky start here with the Honda Ridgeline, but we've seen pretty good runs the last 2 weeks here on the West Coast between Hobson and now Chris Harvey here tonight. So they've got the speed, they've got the, they've got it. They just haven't been able to put it all together yet. They've been riddled with a lot of mechanical failures and getting wound up in trouble not of their causing. As we see many times over here on the Nasser World of Racing, that outside line is going to be the preferred line on the restart. So it's almost a guarantee that Tom Cording is going to get the jump start here on the 12 truck. And like clockwork, that 90 truck gets a full truck length ahead of the 12 going into turn 1. But Chris Harvey knows where he's at. Just needs to take a step back and roll with the punches here. And the caution has allowed the trucks to get bunched back up yet again. Easily 5 trucks without any damage at the front of the field. And you look any further back past 5th, it's hard to pick out a truck that is clean. So these 5 that are in the top 5, they've got the cleanest trucks of them all just because they've been able to stay out of trouble. Trevor Walker slots his way up to 2nd here. John Hagan now making a move to get up to 3rd. Chris Harvey struggling here on the restart. Harvey running the outside line there, kind of making that work. Krista Cower with severely damaged number 98. She's caught back up to this top 5 crew and looking to make some moves possibly. Trevor trying to fight for the lead again with Tom Cording leading the way. John Hagan just a couple spots back there in the picture. And so let's give a massive shout out to Nate Newman here, who's got a top 10 run going, racing and keeping his truck clean. Now up to 7th there. And with his truck, it should be clean enough that he can make some passes to get up into the top 5. He gets by Alex P. Wilson there. Alan Malcolm, Lynn Farrell, Josh Gaiman, Silas Huddleston, Lotus King, Nathan Mann, and Monty Shangle round out your top 15. These two duking it out between the two. Brian DeBlanc and Chasey Plays. Very sure that these two are not going to be fond of each other after tonight. The 49 looked to have deliberately dumped the 85 on the replay we saw. And DeBlanc might want to mind his P's and Q's to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Try to get as far away from this 49 truck as he possibly can. Trevor Walker having a bit of a bobble there as the 88 of John Hagan now catching up to the back bumper. Hagan getting side by side. 21 going high. This is going to allow for the 24 of Kyler Sustre to kind of close the gap too. Sustre and Hagan Losing momentum now to the 21 truck as the 21 now trying to catch up to the 90. Sestre goes below Hagen. Hagen gets hung out to dry. Hagen up high there with no clear route to the bottom lane. Great run here from Trevor Walker as he's caught up to the back end of the 90 truck. Still running somewhat faster laps than Tom Cording is. Going low here, Tom Cording sticks it up a little higher. Trevor gonna be too wide in turn 1 here. The side-by-side racing between the two of them is going to allow the back end of the field to catch back up. Kyler Sustre desperately hoping to close the gap quicker than he is right now. And as you can see, we've got 3 trucks within 1 blanket of each other. Seems that Alex P. Wilson is now slotted his way up to 6th. Krista Cower in 7th, and Nate Newman running 8th. Lynn Farrell now up to 9th, bumping the 9 of Alan Malcolm back to 10th, 11th, almost 12th at this point. Side by side for second, here comes Kyler Sestre. He wants to defend his win from last week and go back-to-back on the West Coast. We've seen 8 out of 8 races, 7 different winners. Here tonight, race number 9, we could see 8 of 9 different winners still. It would have to go to one of the drivers outside the top 4 right now, though. But at least Chris Harvey's hanging in there. He could be a candidate to get the first win of the season here. But he's got a tall order to fill with the 88 of Hagen in front of him, the 21 of Trevor Walker, the 24 Kyler Sestre, and the 90 of Tom Cording. That is quite the formidable power squad with those 4 drivers. Trevor Walker now making the move up to 2nd here. Hagen also making the move to get alongside the 24. Sestre struggling a little bit here as he is now getting passed up by the 12 truck. And now we've got to fight for the lead again. As Trevor Walker continues to make it interesting here with the 90 truck of Tom Cording. Wow, and is that... Okay, yeah, Alex P. Wilson has now caught up to the 24 of Sestre. The way that the cautions fell, it's going to be hard to determine whether or not everyone's got what it takes to make to the finish with gas and tires. It's going to be close, as we saw that last caution on lap 55. And we're now halfway through the race at lap 72. Hagan under attack by Harvey there. Crazy on the West Coast here, 90% of the races have been run on the night configuration. So it's almost been a perfect schedule of night races exclusively on the West Coast here. Which is even crazier because if you think about it, that most of your West Coast tracks will be running way late on the East Coast. So I'm surprised that we've got that many West Coast tracks that have a night race setup for the most part. Trevor Walker taking the lead back. Chris Harvey fighting alongside to get up to second. Harvey making his presence known here past halfway. Easily 5 trucks fighting for the win here tonight. And possibly even 6 if Alex P. Wilson could somehow find his way up to the rest of them. Nate Newman gets by Krista Cowers, setting in 7th. Great run for the 29 truck. Definitely have a few Chevys with a shot at winning it here tonight. To go from having 0 wins between 2022 and most all of 2023. All it took was us to establish the East-West divisions for Chevy to finally have a shot to get to victory lane. There we go, Tom Cording going low here. Trevor Walker defending up high. Walker able to keep the lead away from Tom Cording. At this point, you got to wonder if the cautions are going to be done here for tonight, as we're down to only 23 trucks left running. There's not a whole lot of room for things to go wrong. Not a whole lot. But with that being said, there's always the oddball chance of something crazy happening. We could have a mechanical failure that takes out another chunk of the field here in the second half of the race. Here comes Tom. Tom getting side by side for the lead. The 24 of Kyler Sestre closing the gap as well. Kyler Sestre with a good shot of making it 3 wide. He's going to go low, take the entrance into turn 1 with a full head of steam, courtesy of the 12 truck. Chris Harvey gives that 24 truck a great push to take the lead over. But then it looks like the 12 is going to get devoured up by the 90 and the 21 with no draft help of his own now, losing those positions. Hagan catches up to the back end of the 12. This should help the 12 possibly get lined back out here. Here we go. Tom Cording alongside of Kyler Sestre. Lap traffic in the way now too. Chasey plays. These folks are going to have to find a way to make quick work of Chasey plays in hopes that it doesn't spoil the lead. Chasey plays is going to end up blocking both lines of traffic here. And that's going to be an instant DQ for the 49 team. In the meantime, though, we got some good racing at the lead here. Oh, and Chris Harvey gives the 90 truck a bump. 49 still has not let these drivers get clear of him yet. There we go. He's going to cut down low and retire from the race here tonight. So with that disqualification, that'll leave us with 22 trucks exactly left on field. Fastest lap actually does belong to Chris Harvey. So not only does he have the lead, he holds the fastest lap at the moment. Harvey took advantage of the lap traffic perfectly there in earning the lead back from Tom Cording. But now we've got Trevor Walker wanting to take it back. Chris Harvey defending very well here with the lead. It's going to be hard to defend a rush from the 21 team, though, as Trevor blows right by the 12. And now we got another passover maneuver as Chris Harvey follows the draft and makes the pass back. So these two switching the lead out back and forth. Great racing at the front of the field here, as Chris Harvey wants to end his bad luck streak with potentially a great run here tonight. Leading the way right now as they're catching up to lap traffic again. We'll go ahead and DQ for 99 as well. That way we don't have to struggle with any more shenanigans from the slower traffic. This should all work itself out once they get onto the back straight. You would like to hope. The 99 is going to cut low and take the exit onto pit road. Everyone stays clean of the 99 and still continue green for this one. That leaves us with 20 trucks left running here tonight. Correction, 21. As Brian DeBlank still out there running actually reasonable pace with the damage on his truck one lap down. He is, however, next in line to get lapped on the field. But as long as he's not a hazard to the leaders, we'll let them duke it out without any black flags or disqualification. 50 laps to go now. Chris Harvey, we don't know for certain if he's clear to go all the way to the finish without another pit stop. That's going to be the true wild card here tonight is whether or not they have enough gas in the tanks to make to the finish. In only the first season that we've seen Honda and Subaru, we could potentially see every manufacturer for the first season ever with at least one win for every manufacturer. We've already seen Ford secure wins. We've seen Dodge securing wins. We've seen Chevy get their first and only win so far. Toyota, no doubt, has been a winner, and Subaru has been a winner. But now it's all up to Honda, the lone last standing manufacturer that has yet to get a win here. They want to avoid falling into the same category as Chevy, going years without a win in the truck series here. But I don't think that's going to happen. We saw Subaru break out and get their first win. It's just a matter of time before Honda does too. Plus, you've got the east side and the west side, so you obviously have two opportunities for a Honda to get to victory lane. And then the chase, where everything gets all mixed up, as long as you're in the top 20, you'll be locked in for all those races. And there's more opportunities there for a Honda to get that first win for the manufacturer. Quite truly impressive parity here as you've got Toyota leading over Ford, Honda, and Chevy. Oop, here we go. Tom Cording with the run on the inside. And then even further back, you got Dodge. So 5 of the 6 manufacturers represented in the top 5. The only missing absent manufacturer is Subaru. Whereas there are still some Subarus running. We've got Krista Cower in 8th. Wow, everything's getting mixed up here as John Hagan's now up to 2nd. Chris Harvey falls back to 4th. Lap traffic really giving these guys fits right now as John Hagan gets alongside his teammate, the 88 of Gavin Legend. Here comes Hagan. Hagan with a charge on the backstretch. Tom Cording leading the way. Oh, and the bunch up is real with that lap traffic severely slowing the pace. Here comes Chris Harvey up to 2nd. This looks like a super speedway race right now as they've got all bunched up here at Kansas. Hagan goes high, gets suckered up in the loser lane there. And how about that? Alex P. Wilson now up to 3rd in the 25 Chevy Silverado. Chris Harvey still holding solid there in 2nd. Here we go. Harvey for the lead here, using lap traffic to his advantage once again. The 45 does not seem to be slowing him up too much here as Harvey uses that inside lane, pushes the 45 high there to get the lead back from Tom Cording. And wow, the 25 is looking stout, now up to 2nd. And what's only one of his first career starts, we could see a huge shocker here tonight, folks. That 25 of Alex Portolan Wilson I've been calling him Alex P. Wilson for short. Or AP Wilson, I guess, would be a neater sounding name. Kind of like, yeah, it's kind of a cooler sounding nickname. AP Wilson up to second. Fighting for the lead now. Trevor Walker up to third. AP Wilson right there alongside of lap traffic of Nathan Mann there. Gonna cut down low. Man, this is some nail-biting action at the front of the field. Chris Harvey uses that lap traffic as a pick, getting the lead back. Pretty steady there. 3 wide for third place behind him. AP Dubs now up to second. Credit to Chazzy for that nickname. I like that one a lot. If he pulls off a win here tonight, that'll be his new nickname, because obviously a dub means victory, winning it. Now he's got Tom Cording on the inside there. Tom Cording really with a full head of steam getting alongside of Chris alongside, side by side for the lead. Chris keeping his momentum in check here. Great run on the outside. Harvey still using the lap traffic to his advantage until now, where it's Tom Cording using it to his advantage. Kyler Sestre now up to second, trying to find their way around the lap traffic here. Now that things have kind of settled down a little bit here, we can catch our breath. There's still 35 laps to go here, Kansas, and still it's really anyone's game so far. We've seen the lead switch hands so often here in the second half of the race. It's been an instant classic for sure. Half the field's been knocked out due to the first caution of the race. So we're only down to 21 trucks left running of the 42 truck field. But that has not slowed the action down at the front. It's actually helped hype it up a little bit, ramp it up a little bit harder for the action. Chris Harvey's boss man finished second at the Roval last night. He's hoping to match or even best that by another spot here tonight. Great run on Harvey's end. He has had just as much bad luck as boss man Chadwick has had this season. So finally, maybe the lucky rabbit's foot or the penny that he found on the sidewalk, who knows? Seems like it's turning around here, at least for tonight, with the bad luck. Closing the gap on the 24, going down low. Sestre with very little defense there. And you know for a fact that lap traffic is going to become a factor yet again towards the closing laps of this one. They haven't quite caught up to the back of the... Well, that's 13th. They're about to catch up to 13th place a lap down. There's only 13 trucks left on the lead lap. And even fewer than that have any clean trucks. Seems like the 23 of Lotus King with a relatively clean truck, the 29 of Nate Newman. But other than those two in the top 5, it's pretty much all damage central from there. I think this is actually green flag pit stops, it seems like. The pacing is... Yeah, there's no caution. Everyone pretty routine pit stop here as everyone comes in nose to tail. That helps allow for these drivers to stay really close to their competitors. So green flag pit stops with 30 laps to go, that answers our question. That no, they were not going to be able to make it to the finish without at least one more pit stop. Oh, and a little bit late on the exit there for Chris Harvey is going to bump him back to 4th. Once they get back going, though, it's going to be using the draft and lap traffic to get caught back up. Good part is everyone's rejoining the track without causing a caution here. So our top two drivers, Tom Cording and Kyler Sestre, out to the lead right now. 1-2. But perhaps they got too big of an advantage on the rest of the field. These two getting this far out could be hard to keep a draft materialized with just two trucks. Nathan Mann is a lap down truck, but it seems like they're able to pace with him in the draft at least to keep a good run trying to catch back up to the leaders. They're going to blow by him though on this lap. But I like this pack better. You got three trucks, three fast trucks that could really make the difference here compared to the two trucks out front that might struggle to draft. Tom Cording's last lap was a 31.194. Coming to the start-finish line this time. Keep an eye on that. It was a 30.764. Harvey with a 30.8, so it's close. There's still quite a gap to close. 4.5 seconds from him up to the front of the field. Wow, and Tom Cording actually turning faster laps now as he's starting to eclipse his fastest lap in the race, a 30.6 to his 30.3. There you have it, Chris Harvey with a 30.5. With 25 laps to go, 4 seconds to catch. There's still a lot that can happen here in 25 laps. We'll keep watching the times on track to see. Wow, Chris Harvey turned a 30.445. That is nearly 2 tenths faster than the leader. .6 for Tom Cording. This lap it's going to be a 30.6. 30.6, so didn't catch as much on that lap as he did the previous lap, but still closing the gap slowly but surely. .5, match that up to a 30.559 to his 30.515. The gap is now 3.8 seconds from Harvey to the lead. Looking on the rest of the field, looks like Trevor Walker in 6th, Nate Newman in 7th, Silas Huddleston in 8th, Josh Gaiman in 9th and Krista Cower in your top 10. Ouch. 30.8 for Harvey that time is really going to kill his pace as Tom Cording turned a 30.6. 21 laps to go. This time by. Man, Tom Cording is consistent with those 30.6s. Wow, Trevor Walker turned a 30.3. Where the heck did that come from? Almost his fastest lap of the race turned there. Harvey seems to be struggling with the lead here as he's not actually closing the gap. It seems like the draft behind him is actually quicker as the 21 of Trevor Walker made a huge jump there with his fast lap. "19 laps to go, still a lot of racing. There's still a lot of racing. We had what was likely going to be one of the most craziest looking finishes there for a while. And lap traffic could still factor in here as Alan Malcolm still has not got caught by our leaders. So 13 trucks still on the lead lap. Alan Malcolm will be entering the picture here shortly. So the 23 of Lotus King and the 9 of Alan Malcolm, they might just speed that process up if they get side by side here. If those two got side by side holding up the traffic behind them, it would be like a fast ticket at Disneyland to get into your ride quicker. Chris Harvey would truly catch up within a couple laps to the lead two. There we go. Malcolm makes the pass there on the 23. 23 wants to fight back a little bit here. Doesn't have much more speed than that, though, to fight. Meantime, there's only 16 laps to go. The gap is now 4.35 seconds back to Trevor Walker, who's now slotted his way into third. Harvey seemingly struggling a little bit here at the end of this run. But behind the draft now, let's see if maybe he can put together some faster laps in tow. Here we go, lap traffic with 15 laps to go. This should truly be the last opportunity for anyone outside the top two to catch up and fight for the win here tonight. Kyler Sestre getting alongside Tom Cording. Tom Cording playing it smart here, staying on the high side, using the lap traffic to his advantage. Sestre actually now on the upside of this one. But now there's no winning when you've got both lanes held up by the traffic. Lap this time was a 30.8, so even with lap traffic, still really fast laps for these lead two. Harvey back up to third. It's getting down to crunch time here as we only have 13 laps to go. 23, Lotus King could be huge in deciding this race here tonight. Tom Cording making quick work. We're going to go ahead and DQ those two. So that our rest of our field has clean track in front of them. Still more lap traffic could enter the fold here. These two are not cooperating with each other. They keep passing back and forth for third place. That's only going to continue to keep them that much further away from the lead. Things could get hairy entering the lap traffic, though. You never know if these two could get wrecked out. That fight for third could be a fight for the win. Too wide traffic, truly going to slow him up here. Brian DeBlanc with, he's seen better days for the 85 team. 86 right there in front of the two of them. Nine laps to go now. It's really getting harder and harder for Harvey to close that gap. But it seems like no matter what's going on, these two are continuing to catch up to all the lap traffic in front of them. The gap is 4.5 seconds. Harvey mostly just trying to keep a third place in line here. Kyler Sestre looking at potentially getting back-to-back wins here in the USA Trucks West Division. He just won the last race at Texas. He's holding off Tom Cording here as we're closing in on 5 laps to go. And now 11th, 10th, and 9th on the chopping board. As you can see, these three have significant damage to their truck. They're a little bit quicker than the rest of the damaged trucks that we've seen up to this point. Harvey nearly 5 seconds back now. He's going to need a miracle to happen if he were to win tonight. Yeah, it seems crazy here on the West Coast. We went without duplicate winners. And since we haven't had a duplicate winner, we had back-to-back with Matthew Fastnot and then a new winner in Kyler Sestre just this last race. But Kyler Sestre looking solid here for a shot at getting back-to-back wins. So very likely it could get done here, where now he's kind of stuck behind the 29. That slowed it a lot for the 24 of Sestre. But the 90 also dealing with slower traffic, holding him up as well. We'll have to see what their lap times this time is. 30.9 slows all the way up to a 31.2. So if there were a shot, this would be the time for Harvey to start closing that gap. But it's going to be too short, too late at the end of this one, as there's only 3 laps left to go and nearly 4 seconds of a gap to close. There's no way he's going to gain a full second a lap to catch up. But crazier things have happened. We've seen a lot of craziness on this West Coast. Tom Cording is yet to get his second win in the series. Kyler Sestre fighting for that second win. As we've only got 3 laps to go now, it's going to be between these two as to who wins it. Still under green conditions right now. Sestre fighting from behind to try and get that back-to-back win. Impressive run for Silas Huddleston, even though he's about to go a lap down. He's going to secure a 7th for the #1 truck. Oh, lap traffic seriously giving us fits here. 90 of Tom Cording with nowhere to go. Kyler Sestre trying to find the right gap to make a move. White flag waving in the air. This will be last time by. Whoever gets it, gets it. Silas Huddleston there, still on the lead lap, fighting for 7th. Sestre with a huge run on the backstretch. He's going low. He's going to attempt to make the pass here on the last lap. Tom Cording using the outside to momentum to his advantage here. It's going to be all Tom Cording coming across the front stretch there to get the win here tonight. Nothing to be ashamed for Chris Harvey, though, coming home 3rd. AP Wilson comes home 4th. John Hagan coming home 5th. And Trevor Walker coming home 6th. That's basically the rest of your trucks on the lead lap, apart from the #1 of Silas Huddleston, who fended off the hard-charging Tom Cording to keep his 7th place lead lap position. So we go from having a Tim Cording fail to even start the race last night at the Roval to a Tom Cording winning the race here tonight at Kansas. So, been a topsy-turvy week for the Cording brothers. Tom Cording secures his 2nd win of the season, and that's going to help him in the points situation for the chase. Possibly trying to close up on the points lead overall, as he still has to catch up to, I think, Trevor Walker currently is your points leader. I could be mistaken. So 9 of 11, 9 down, 2 to go here on the West Coast. Congratulations, Tom Cording. And so, yeah, our picture is getting a lot clearer. That crystal ball that was murky a couple weeks ago, we're starting to see a direct path as to who's in and who's out for this chase. Ford, Dodge, Honda, Chevy, and Chevy, Toyota is your top 6 manufacturers here tonight. Tom Cording only continuing to add to the legacy of the Cording name, giving the family yet another win in the USA Trucks. It's actually the winningest last name here on the USA Trucks. It's the series that the Cording brothers have built so far. Coming in close to that would be Weiss on his own. Atlee Weiss, I would say, is probably about tied, actually. It's going to be pretty close between the 2 Cording brothers and Weiss as to who has more wins in the USA Trucks. But thanks again, everyone. That was an exciting finish. Congratulations, Tom Cording, on winning it. Yeah, we're going to have a pretty exciting chase here in a couple weeks as to what's going to unfold for the rest of the season. Kudos and also heartbreaks for some. Glad everyone could tune in. Hopefully the heartbreaks start to become less and less for some of these drivers, and more so kudos, as we've seen tonight with Tom Cording. So hopefully all have a good night, get some rest. Keep safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one. This is Jakester signing out.